Shout out to G-Man Boxing.
Alright people, Leigh Wood versus Mauricio Lara. This was a good fight. There's an old saying in boxing. You can jab with a jabber, but you can't hook with a hooker. This fight is case in point as to why that is. Now, Leigh Wood, I expected him to lose this fight by knockout, and I expected Lara to do it in the first half of the fight. So that's what happened. But I expected Lara to have a lot more success than he did. Leigh Wood was ahead on all three judges' scorecards at the time of the stoppage and would have won the 7th round had he not made this catastrophic mistake, at least in my opinion. So how did this fight go? Leigh Wood came out on the back foot using his jab, and what I said about Mauricio Lara in my prediction video was several things. As much as Lara is unpredictable, he's unorthodox and he hits hard, his footwork's not the best, his balance isn't the best, and he's easy to hit. Alright, and also he needs to always be on balance to get his shots off, or to get mainly his big shots off. So at times you can actually, overwhelm him with shots if you want to, because he tends to tuck up, keep his hands up high and his feet kind of stationary the whole time. So there's a lot of things you can do to have success against Mauricio Lara. Now Leigh Wood, he stayed on the back foot. He kept using his jab. He was doing some good work to the body as well. So what he was doing was, and you could really see the balance of Lara not on point, because he would often jab to Lara's body, and when he'd do that, you'd see Lara almost take a step back, just purely down to his balance being just so off. So from long range he was doing well. He was hitting him with right hands now and again, and he had a very good first round. He had a rough second round. He was rocked by Mauricio Lara. He was getting hit by the body, and he was hurt to the body by Mauricio Lara as well. Also, there was a head clash in the first round, which opened the cut just above the eye of Leigh Wood. It was controlled very well by the cut man, it has to be said. There was bleeding, there was blood flowing, but it wasn't gushing down his face or anything like that. And I think that in the second round, that was more what worried Leigh Wood in the second round, and maybe gave Lara a better round than he should have had, if you get me, by just Lara really put it on him in that second round. But I think it was more Leigh Wood was anxious about the cut more so than anything else, because in the third round, back to his boxing, and he really just picked up rounds for fun at that point. He's making Lara look very pedestrian in there. He was hitting Lara with shots. If it wasn't the jab, it was the right hand, having a lot of success with Lara from long range. And Lara wasn't doing much. Whenever he tried to get close to Leigh Wood would move, he'd grab him, he'd clinch him, Lara would be missing, he'd be swinging, he would be swinging all over the place, and he was having no success. So I was looking at this fight thinking, do you know what? If Leigh Wood keeps just doing what he's doing, he's going to win this fight on points. He might even get a stoppage in this fight, because there was times where Lara looked a bit buzzed, and there was times almost in the fight where I felt as though he was looking a bit lost. It was just like, what do I do? I was doing this against Warrington, and it was working. It's not working against this guy. So I felt that Leigh Wood was really in the driving seat, and I thought he was boxing brilliantly. Yeah, Lara was having his moments of success in there, but they were few and far between. And I just felt like the shots he was trying to get off, he was missing. The only shots he was really able to land were jabs, and even then there was no real power on them, because he was diving in with the jab almost. There was no real sting on it. So I thought it was a very good performance by Leigh Wood early on. And then we go into the 7th round, where Leigh Wood, again, he's on the back foot, boxing well, he's doing what he needs to do. And then towards the end of the 7th round, a catastrophic mistake. Stands straight in front of Mauricio Lara, goes and leads with a hook, and at the very same time, Mauricio Lara, the shorter, more compact fighter, the fighter who, the left hook you would say is probably Lara's best punch to head and to body, Lara throws his at the same time. Boom. That was it. Leigh Wood went down. Now, he did manage to beat the count, and, Ben Davison, he's getting absolutely berated on social media. I've already had a quick look. So, I'm going to explain why I agree with this stoppage. Okay, and there's a few reasons. One, it was a massive shot. Leigh Wood went down. Now, people were arguing and saying, no, gee, Ben Davison threw the towel in with 10 seconds left to go in the round. He should have more awareness, etc. 10 seconds left to go in the round, I take that into the equation. But let's look at fights where it's happened. A guy getting dropped by a big shot at the end of the round. Have they recovered in the minute? Well, did Kid Galahad recover when he was dropped by Kiko Martinez and it was pretty clear that he was unable to continue going back to the corner? Well, Dominic Ingle didn't stop the fight, and Kid Galahad got knocked out nearly out cold in the 6th round with the first shot Kiko Martinez threw. When it's a big shot like that, it's really irrelevant if it's the end of the round or not. Yeah, you could say, okay, give him a bit of time. You know, Daniel Dubois, when he fought Kevin Lerena, was given time, but he wasn't knocked down. Well, he went down voluntarily twice. He wasn't in as much trouble as Leigh Wood was there. Leigh Wood looked out of it, you know, and I think that if they'd let it go on, there's a good chance he would have got cleaned out by Mauricio Lara. I really do think that there's a good chance he would have got cleaned out. Do I agree with the stoppage? Yes, I do. Of course, Ben Davison, he doesn't do himself any favours. I think he's a good trainer, Ben Davison, and I think that was the right decision to stop the fight. However, because he always puts his foot in it, you know, on a lot of different subjects, he's not endeared himself to the public. The public will just jump on Ben Davison. I think it's a bit unfair as well. You know, I mean, you look at Leigh Wood, and no disrespect to Leigh Wood, I think he did a tremendous performance tonight, and I think he comes across as a really, really cool guy as well. Leigh Wood was losing to Jazza Dickens under Dave Colwell a few years ago. Remember that? Trained by Dave Colwell, losing to Jazza Dickens, looking not too good. Look at the performances now he's putting in. He's a world level fighter, and he's only started looking like that since he's been with Ben Davison. You can't take that away from Ben Davison. You know, I don't know him personally. I've never met the guy, but I have to be objective. That's what you telling me that Leigh Wood losing to Jazza Dickens under Dave Colwell, if he'd stayed with Dave Colwell, suddenly overnight he would have just changed? No, he needed to find a trainer who he clicked with and who can bring out the best of him. Dave Colwell clearly couldn't do that. Ben Davison can. And is there an issue with him stopping the fight? Do you know something, right? He was damned if he did, damned if he didn't. Because if he didn't stop the fight and Leigh Wood got hurt, you'd have these same people saying Ben Davison's a terrible trainer, he clearly should have stopped the fight. Whereas instead he stopped the fight, you've these people saying he's a terrible trainer, he should have let him carry on. At the end of the day, you know, he's damned if he did, damned if he didn't. Personally, for me, I'm glad he did, because I don't want to see Leigh Wood get splattered all over the canvas. That's what would have happened, because his legs were absolutely gone. He would have been knocked out badly if that fight carried on. So I have no issue with the stoppage personally. I think it was fine. I know it's not nice for Leigh Wood, but as you know, I said earlier, like, this is a guy who was losing at domestic level a couple of years ago. He's done tremendously well for himself, and I hope he gets another payday or two out of it, because he seems like a real, genuinely cool guy, and there's still definitely a lot left in the tank. It was one punch that did it. He didn't take a beating in this fight, so he's got loads left. So hopefully there's going to be a rematch, more than likely, because it was a voluntary, very dangerous voluntary. So there we go. Let's see how it goes. That's my thoughts on this. Now, I'd be interested to know what people's thoughts in the comments are on the stoppage. Do you agree with Ben Davison, or do you think, no, let him even try and have another go? Let me know in the comments. I'd be interested to know your thoughts. For now, lads and lassies, I'll leave you with that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. We'll talk about this more tomorrow. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. For now, lads and lassies, I'll talk to you. Peace.